Right, who's with me in this? Leveling characters, if you're trying to actively enjoy the process in the world, is actually a bit of a nightmare. Most of us, I'd wager, are just treating leveling like a chore, just trying to get a new character maxed for endgame. And that's why now's a good time to blast it all out with the 50 XP buff that's about to leave the game. Hell, that buff even existing makes it clear that Blizzard treats it the same way too. Or, as I should say, treated. Because in 10.1.5 we are losing the 50% XP buff with the event ending, but we're going to be gaining some major leveling upgrades in its place. Leveling an alt will be less disruptive, close to seamless, and a damn good bit cheaper too. If you've wanted to go back and experience some of WoW's past while leveling your characters, 10.1.5 may be the best time yet, doubly so if you're a returning player after a long hiatus, and triply so if you are new to the game. Or perhaps new to the Pale Beyond, which is the game that we developed. It's on Steam, and it's 20% off with the summer sale right now. And why not take the summer sale as an opportunity to pick up a Antarctic exploration-inspired narrative survival role-playing game? Because hey, it's a perfect game for the summer. Okay, that's down below, 20% off till the end of the summer sale. And with that said, let's go. First, and this is only tangentially related, allied race restrictions are being removed entirely. This is great. As long as you've got a level 40 plus character, you can just do them. And if you're like some of us who maybe never bother doing certain bits of BFA content to unlock certain races, say on the other faction, but now that's bitten you in the ass because of cross-faction guilds, well, you can actually say that you just saw that coming and we're being efficient. So there you go, as soon as the patch drops, you'll have a bunch of new races to unlock and level up manually. Of course, if you level them up manually, then you will get their heritage armor sets, so totally worth doing. Next, a brilliant move for the gold-challenged altaholics out there, because you no longer need to buy riding skill. They are now trained automatically as soon as you hit level 10, 20, and 30, literally saving you thousands of gold and removing that pace-breaking trip back to your capital city, which of course means you can be a bit more free in how you set your Hearthstone, which is dead handy. This is the kind of change that is cool, minor, but actually has a pretty big impact. I'd say for a new player, this is also especially nice. One of the most dangerous things you can have in an early game experience is a moment where somebody gets frustrated and confused and puts the game down feeling that way, especially during a free trial, and never comes back. And with WoW's new player experience, that could be even worse. Imagine a new player that doesn't bother to go back and level up their riding skill, and therefore does all of Battle for Azeroth's huge zones at 60% speed. Or maybe they do go back, but it breaks the flow of their leveling, they get confused or bored, maybe they hit level 40 and the new player doesn't have enough gold to buy master riding. Whole bunch of potential problems all solved. This also, by the way, comes with a new free flying mount, which you can get by just traveling to Borealis or Zuldazar. It's a quest that will just pop up directing you to the local stable master for your reward. There's also been some updates to Chromie time. It now ends at level 61, and that means that you can hit level 60 and continue in your pre-Dragonflight zone for just a little while longer, which is way bigger than it sounds. You can, if you want, lock XP at level 60, hop into Chromie time, and do expansion patch stories when they're actually scaled to your character. It's also pretty good for players who don't have Dragonflight, even though that does sound weird. There actually are plenty of them, and now you can just go play like the whole pre-Dragonflight game in scaled Chromie time instead of being stuck in a weird limbo. It also means you have one less level to do in BFA content, which is a nice break from the usual arrive in the Isles with level 60 and feel insanely weak feeling. This also comes along with the update fixing up some Chromie dialogue to make it just explain the expansions in a more in-universe way and let people watch the intro cinematics if they want to get some vibes. Nicer for the newer players. The patch also said expansion restrictions removed, which we haven't been able to test because fresh accounts can't access the PTR, but a forum poster is actually claiming that brand new players are no longer forced to level through BFA. They can just go to Chromie and do whatever the hell they want, which is, yes, freedom, I think, quite a lot better. And speaking of freedom, the BFA patch content zones, Mechagon and Nazjatar were level 50 zones, which means you basically couldn't do them until you were almost done leveling anyway. And I say were because they are, as of 10.1.5, level 30 zones, and that gives new players a chance to actually go and do them. Now, they may not be the most groundbreaking zones in the universe, but there's actually some pretty damn cool stuff in all of them, especially Mechagon, and I think that players who have not done that before would probably appreciate its wacky vibes and some of its neat rewards. Now, the next bit is kind of crazy for returning players or for just those alts you've left abandoned. If a character hasn't been touched for 60 days, they'll be eligible for a new welcome back gift. This gives you a full level appropriate set of gear for your spec of choice and a fresh set of entirely empty bags. It empties your quest log for you and it sends you back to your capital city, ready to start with a nice blank slate. Any stuff that, of course, you had in that character will just be mailed back to you, so don't be worried about losing stuff. Basically, it's a don't be confused, just hit the play button. And that's it for the major features for returning players, but there are some small things they're doing to make the game a bit more noob friendly and a few other nice things as well. For starters, Exile's Reach and the BFA campaigns have been retrofitted with campaign tracking, so now you basically get to see where you are in the story and keep track of where you've gone, what you're doing, and importantly, understand the structure of the story that you're in. The next change is also pretty damn nice for not getting new players lost, and that is that quests will now show up on your map. This is, yet again, another backporting of modern features into older parts of the game, which, yes, absolutely is great, so people actually know where the quests are without having to go and Google things or ask a friend. The last tiny update is that when you arrive in your capital city, instead of having to manually follow somebody leading you to the stables to train riding, they actually chauffeur you there, and that gives them a bit of an opportunity to give an explainer about the city. Ideally, they'll expand this into a more lore-heavy guided tour in the future or something. So leveling is better for returning new players, but there's actually one last change that's kind of massive. It might make you want to just level alts in every expansion. So, do you remember that Blizzard added grey and white items to the Transmog system? Well, you probably noticed that it's a massive pain in the ass. Because they're not soul-bound, you've got to equip each of them individually. You have to make sure that they're not auto-sold to a vendor with your add-ons, and you've got to manually process every single one of them that you get, mail them to your alts, and, do all of that nonsense. Not in 10.1.5. Now, Unbound and BOE gear grants you their appearance when you sell them to a vendor. And that means that if you spend a few hours in, say, Burning Crusade zones, right, questing and killing mobs, you will slowly but surely pick up a ton of new appearances without having to lift a finger. You could easily then spend a few weekends cracking out some of the old expansions that you missed and massively expanding your transmogrification wardrobe. So as you can see, Blizzard are just using these patches to make some small but nice tweaks to the game to make it a bit more smooth, especially for new players. Then finally, they've made it so the Dragonflight, Shadowlands, and BFA dungeons actually have their quests spawn inside them, which, is way better for your XP per hour when you're just queuing up for that stuff. So basically, there you have it. What we see, right, is Blizzard using all of these patches to put in just little fixes and nice things that make the game better. If they keep on doing this for many patches, you do have to wonder how much of a better place the game is going to be, even by the time we hit 11.0. So here's to that. Why not level up a bunch of alts and get a bunch of those Lore Master achievements? Pretty good way to spend some time in Azeroth. Alright, have a great day, and I will see you next time.